Hey everybody, this is Brian from Carving is Fun. In this video, I'm going to be starting a little mini-series on how to make your own chess set. I ended up getting an empty chess box, so I wanted to show how I made every single chess piece in here. So in this video, we're going to be making a pawn. You're going to need about 16 of these for the entire chess set. So in the video, I'll guide you through how I'm making them, and I'll have a little picture on the left-hand side over here. That way you can see what the current step is, and you can pause the video if you need to catch up. So what you're going to need is your preferred whittling knife, a 1x1 by 2 inch block of basswood, and a pencil to draw reference lines. So starting off, we're going to go ahead and take our 1x1 by 2 inch piece of wood and round it off a little bit. We don't need to make it perfectly round. We'll be able to touch it up a little bit later on, but for the beginning steps, it's easier to go ahead and just start rounding off the corners. Now, you can also use a 1 inch dowel as well. That'll save you this current step right here. As a matter of fact, if you even have a wood lathe or some sort of wood turning set, you can probably make these in a matter of minutes. But since I'm only going to use a knife in this one, it'll probably take you between 10 to 20 minutes depending on your skill level and how quickly you're whittling here. And you can see I'm not going all the way around and trying to make a perfect round shape on it. I'm just, like I said, rounding off the corners. I also don't like to go from one end of the block all the way to the other. I've been finding that ends up increasing the chance of splitting the wood when I get halfway through. It sometimes rips off a bunch of wood further down and just sometimes takes off too much wood to the point where you can't recover from it for the current piece that you're making. Alright, now that you got your block of wood all rounded off, what we're going to do is start making some of the details here. Let's see, which side do I want to do? Quick tip too, when you're going to be doing it, make sure you're choosing the flattest side to be the bottom, because for me, I take a 1x1 by 4 inch piece of wood and I cut it in half. My top part's a little bit angled, so I know this side is going to be my flattest side. So we're going to start with that being flattest side. Make a little indicator right here. This is going to be my base. I don't like to whittle a sharp point right to the edge because then it starts making it a little bit brittle and it'll break off while it's actually being stored or in use. Then I'm going to draw 2 more reference lines. The top one is going to be right in the middle of the wood. So the top part right here is your very middle point. And then right in the middle of the top portion, I'm going to put another marker. This is going to be indicator between your the round portion and kind of like this skirt area right here. So what we're going to do now, since we have those indicators, I'm going to hold my pencil hand still and kind of just roll the block of wood. If it's mostly round, it will basically stay in place and it'll allow you to make a straight line all the way around. But sometimes if you're using your hand to try and make a line, it will start to waver up and down. So this is a good way I found to actually try and keep a straight line. Is it perfect? No, but it does a heck of a lot better than me trying to do it freehand. Alright, now that I got all the lines set, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So what I'm going to do is start cutting in from this line and go up and in a little bit, and I'm going to start making a stop cut all the way around on the bottom, or on the second line right here, which is going to be basically this portion right here. So I usually like to start off by making my stop cut all the way around. The first part can be pretty shallow. It's good to have a solid indicator where you're going to be making your stop cut with your knife. It doesn't have to be too deep at this point, just a hard line. And then from here, what I like to do is start cutting in towards that line and create a slight wedge. And you're noticing I'm just cutting into it. Some of the pieces are falling off, some of them aren't. That is fine. We're going to go around and clean it up a little bit here. So now I made it all the way around. I'll usually go and just slide my knife around and it'll basically clean off the rest of the pieces that I started to chip off there. And then I'll repeat that process in larger cuts once I have my initial cuts going, and it kind of creates what looks like a little skirt going all the way around. Now I'm not cutting it all the way up to that point. You're seeing probably me stopping just a little bit before the stop cut there. I'm doing this just so I don't accidentally blow through the wood and cutting off more than I need. It's easier to come back and just clean it up for me right after that. So just go around again, push in on that initial stop cut in that area. Some of the pieces will fall off, some of them won't. That's fine. Just at that point, since you already pushed the stop cut further on, you can go and finish it up a little bit here. There we go. Now that I made it to the line, the bottom, I'm going to start from that point and then carve up inwards in a more uniform pattern than I was before. And each piece does not have to be perfect. I don't strive for perfection in any of my carvings. I just want to make it look nice. Sometimes you won't be able to get perfect in it, and that can be a little bit frustrating. I know that bothered me a lot at the beginning, so I was thinking it has to look exactly like I want it to. No, don't bother with that. Make it look nice. It'll be unique. There we go. Clean this up a little bit and we'll move on to the next step here. Alright, now that we have our skirt here at the bottom, we're going to start moving on to the next section. Basically, we're going to be copying what we did here in this section, and also kind of in reverse going the other way. Now for this one, I found it's a little bit easier to make the initial stop cut right here, just mainly to give a hard outline to where we're going to be working. Just like make a quick stop cut all the way around. And then just like how I did the other one, we're going to be doing a shallow little slice right to our stop cut. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip it around and go the opposite direction, doing the same exact thing. This ends up creating a little wedge that further helps define where that line is going to be, and it also helps work with you to remove the wood, because it kind of is basically a V cut going all the way around the wood. So just go ahead and clean it up a little bit. And I like to clean it up a little bit before I move on to the next step. It just makes the whole task a little bit easier. Alright, now that we have the rough outline of what we're going to do, we're going to start working from this side up to create the skirt, and then after we do that, we're going to start forming the head of the piece here. So I just start cutting from the bottom upwards there. And you can take it slow like I did on the other side, or you can just start from the bottom and kind of start angling in. It's going to be completely up to you. You'll find the way that you feel more comfortable doing it. Alright, and then start going from the other side to create that V cut like I did for the other side. Pretty simple. All you're doing is basically just cutting and then rotating the piece around. You see I pretty much got the second skirt all set up and what looks like almost like a reverse lampshade on it. So from here, what we're going to do is start angling the top around. So kind of make a reverse of this on the top. So but I won't like start cutting in from this angle and pushing in. Instead, what I like to do is kind of do a little bit of a paring cut at the top. Just go around. This is much, much faster. Now that I have the initial part started, I'm just going to take it in a little bit more. There we go. Round this off a little bit here. Alright, so now that I have that going, I'm going to basically remove this spike section here. So I'm just going to do a paring cut all the way around. Because I don't want the diameter of the top ball to be the same as the skirt all the way around. I want it to be just a little bit smaller. Plus this helps you round off the top a little bit more. There we go. And from here, we're going to angle in the skirt just a hair more. Just for me, you might have already done this. Just going to taper it in. And then I'm going to start coming back down from the other way and tapering in that part, basically kind of like around its neck there. Alright, now that we've got it cleaned up a little bit, I'm going to take it in just a little bit more, because you notice that we went from slightly different planes as we're going down from the head. So I'm going to taper in the bottom of the neck here essentially a little bit more, so it looks more round going towards that middle point here. And cut it from the other side. Some spots you might have to go back over, but that's fine. There you go. And then from here you can see I got like kind of a long side on this side over here. Well, it looks all right on that side, but we're just going to go around and smooth it off. You can see from the top that I'm a little bit wider on this edge, so I'll just go in and kind of smooth everything out. It's more like the finishing touches now. And then there's one more step I like to do after this. It usually, and it's primarily because the stain that I'm doing doesn't like these flat sides. You can see these sides are straight up and down right here, which when you put the stain on it, it kind of makes it a lighter stain. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them at an angle inwards a little bit, and you can see it allows the stain to absorb in there a little bit better. Now this can be remedied if you're going to sand it. I'm not going to do it for this one, but that's completely up to you. What I'm going to do here is just a slight inward taper. Doesn't have to be crazy. We don't want to make a sharp point on the edge that can easily break. So just lightly angle it inwards at the same angle all the way around if you can. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing for the top one here. We're going to round it off a little bit first. Saw some spots that looked a little bit more rectangular. And that spot. Alright. And basically you are done with your whittling part there. Now next what we're going to do is seal the wood and color it. So let me get all set up here in one sec. Alright, now that I have my carvings all done, I'm going to go ahead and seal them in. For what I'm using right now, I'm using beeswax paste for the lighter colored pieces, and then a dark walnut wood stain for the dark pieces here. So what I'm gonna start off with the beeswax paste. This is my usual go-to for finishing off any of my basic wood pieces that I just want to put a really simple stain or simple coat of wood protector on. It's basically beeswax and mineral oil. All you need to do is just apply it with your fingers and smear it all over the wood. Make sure you get all the little nooks and crannies. It's alright if you like build it up into the little neck portions there. We're going to be wiping away the excess with the rag here in a sec. Alright, now that's all done. What we're going to do is just wipe off the excess beeswax and basically polish it up. You only need one layer of this, so you don't need to reapply it unless you really want to. And then eventually it will come and turn into a little bit of a darker piece of wood compared to your untreated basswood. That's normal. But it is now sealed, and I can add that to another one of my lighter colored ponds here. Now that I got that done, we're going to do the wood finish. And for that, I'm going to grab another piece of paper towel and put on some gloves. If I can put on some gloves, come on. Alright, so make sure you give your finish here a little bit of a shake. Larger one, you might want to stir it. Now this is a much darker stain. Like I said, this was dark walnut. You can use any kind of dark stain you want. This is your project. This is just what I had on hand right now. So I figured use what I got. You don't have to go and do anything crazy. So just what I've been doing is just dip a little bit of it in there and then start applying it right to the wood. You can apply it as thick as you want. It depends on how you want to do it. Usually, like all of these right here are only one coat. You can apply multiple coats if you so wish. And like I said, also, it might turn out a little bit nicer if you want to sand it. I just wanted the full-on whittled look without any sanding. And then let it sit for the drying time that they recommend, which is usually about 2 to 4 hours to let it fully dry. That way it's not wet to the touch, and you can handle it safely without smearing anything or staining your clothes or anything like that. But I'll have more of the different pieces for the chest set to show you how to make them. Like I've already got some of the knights going. I got bishop going right here, and I have the rooks or the castles going as well. So I'll get you a video on those. That way you can make your entire chess set and you can start playing chess. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. Hope you have yourself a great day.